So another cognitive bias that we see quite often is something called the IKEA-effect. And this is where you attribute more value to something you've built versus something you've bought. So the fact that you've built that bedside table, we assign more value to it, even though it was cheaper in the first place, versus the one we could have bought for John Lewis for twice the price. And we can see this as a bad thing. Sometimes we hold on to things in organizations longer than we should do because of that sentimental effect that we're having from this. Let's think about the flip side though. How do we use the IKEA effect for good? Getting people involved in change and getting people to be part of building and having authorship over change can be a massive accelerator for getting a great outcome. And essentially, we're using the IKEA effect for good there. So rather than sort of receiving something that they weren't part of building, we're getting them involved early, helping them be part of the change and part of creating something new. And so therefore we can use the IKEA effect for positive to get a great outcome. So a great example of this was a financial services client we were working with, where a lot of the change was being designed by the leadership team, by the managers, and some consultants sort of sat in a darkened room. And we called this out because there was a real chance that you weren't going to get great adoption by the people on the ground because it was done to them. It was very much done by the leadership team. So what we did was set up a number of activities where we could pull people in from the coalface and get them involved in having some authorship over the change. And what was really important, because these people were influential, they had great social networks, they were listened to across the organization, getting a ripple effect across their teams was actually quite easy. Communication flowed, they were respected, and so the change went in a lot easier.